Good morning and welcome to our class in ethics. Today we are going to discuss about the basis of morality. In our last lesson, or our past lesson, we were talking about the imperatives of ethics. Do you still remember the imperatives of ethics? So when we say imperatives, these are the fundamental, the essential requirements that should exist so that ethics will be meaningful and has a purpose in our human existence. Today, we are going to discuss about what are the bases of morality. No? In the previous lesson also we mentioned about standard. Now this is the measure that will determine whether the action is good and evil. But what are these standards? What are these bases? That we are going to explore today. But before proceeding, I would just like to remind everyone to please be careful. You see, in our province, especially in the municipalities of Sogod, Bontoc, Malitbog, there has been an increase of COVID cases. The transmission is already local. So please be careful. Get out of your house only when necessary. But if you have no business outside, just please stay at home so that you will be safe from the contamination and the exposure of the virus. Okay, so if ever you will get out of your house, don't forget to wear face mask and always maintain physical distancing. No? Do not go near to people, especially those you do not know. Tungod kay, we are not sure. You know, in our battle today, our enemy is invisible. Dili nato makitaan ang atong kaaway, and mauna nga kinahanglan nga we just have to be always observe the protocols set by the IATF and the DOH so that we will be safe from COVID-19. Okay, so just a friendly reminder that will benefit not only you but the rest of the members of your family. No problem sa mga tao nga with strong immune system because as per observation, they are asymptomatic. Now, you do understand what is asymptomatic, but we just have to defend, we just have to protect our family members who are prone to COVID-19, especially those with morbidity, kadtong na ay mga sakit, no? Na ay mga gibati, mga high blood, mga diabetic, mga naigipamati sa lawas. They are those persons who can easily be affected and might be affected by COVID-19. So let's protect them. Not only we think not only for ourselves but also for the rest of the members of our family, especially ang atong mga lolo o mga lula no nga mga hinay na og immune system. So please be safe. Okay? So in our lesson today, the intended learning outcomes are the following. First is for you to understand the different laws that are used as basis of morality. Second, after you have understood what are these laws, you will be able to apply this into your life situations. Meaning to say, you have to assess yourself and your experiences and try to determine whether your actions are good or not good relative to the laws that we have discussed. And the third is for you to write a reflection about the law as the standard or the measurement of our actions. So, in order for us to determine whether your action is good or evil, there has to be a standard. Okay, so today we are going to explore what are these standards that are commonly used in ethics. So, in ethics, it uses the law, balaod. The law is used as the standard that will measure whether or not an action is good or evil. Now, there are three kinds of law. And these three kinds of law are the bases. The first is eternal law. Eternal law. Eternal law can be understood as the law that governs the universe. The totality of the universe that includes our world. For some, especially for theologians, eternal law can be interpreted as the mind of God. Meaning to say, everything that happens in the universe, everything that happens in the world are in accordance to the mind or the will of God. That is why in religious perspective, some would say that everything happens in accordance to the will of God. Nothing happens in this world that is not part of the plan of God. So meaning to say, everything in this world, no, the solar system, no, the way the planets move around the sun, the way the universe behave, all these are in accordance to the will of God. So the eternal law is the one that governs everything in this world. Our actions, our behavior are just the way how God plans it to be. Now, the eternal law is still abstract now. It would be difficult to interpret and understand the eternal law. That is why from eternal law, we go lower to a more concrete basis or law, and that is now the natural law. Natural law. What is natural law? Coming from the word natural, no? It is nature. Atong kinaidza, atong nature. Now, if you look around us in our environment, we will observe that there are different creatures, no? Naay-laing-laing mga creatures, plants, trees, animals, insects, birds, and everything. And each of these creature has its own nature. No? Ang langgam, doon na isang kaugalingong kinaidza. Ang has, no, snakes, doon na isang kaugalingong kinaidza. Ang tao, doon na isang kaugalingong kinaidza. So, each creature has its own nature. And in the context of ethics, it is this nature that will determine whether your action is good or evil. If your action or behavior is in accordance to your nature, then your action will be considered good. And on the other hand, if your action is not in accordance to your nature, your action can be considered inappropriate or evil. That is why, no, nature sa iring nga manungkab. Nagigutom, no, manungkab ang iring. So, do not be angry with the cat because he is simply doing his nature. He is just simply executing his nature. Kung ang baboy mangungad sa imong mga tanom o sa pisang ungaron diha, do not kick. Ato patdiri ang baboy tungod kay igo lamang nagpakababoy ang baboy. No? The pig is just behaving according to its nature. How about us human beings? What is our nature. No? So, the nature of the human being is being rational. Diba? You have learned that man is a rational being. Why are we rational? Yanong gitawag man ta nga the highest form of animal. No? Because of our rationality. So when we speak of rationality, we mean to say we have our brain that gives us the capacity to think, and not only think, but much more, it gives us the capacity to analyze our actions, to weigh things, to reflect. No? Na atay katakos sa paghuna-huna, sa pagtimbang-timbang, sa pag-reflect. No? Pag-reflect, meaning to say, na atay katakos sa pagtanaw sa nanghitabo, sa nangagi. No? Those things that happened in the past, and then from those experiences, from those things which happened in the past, we try to identify or determine what lesson we can get from it. No? What learning we can gain from those experiences. So, mo na qualities of sa katao, reflective, no? A reflective being. And other than reflective being, ang mamahimong tao, no? Humane, tawhanon. In values education, we are taught to be humane, no? Makatao. There is a saying that goes, ang daling maging tao, pero mahirap magpakatao. So, when we say magpakatao, meaning to say, we use both our rationality and also our capability to feel for others. Kamaota maluoy, kamaota mo butang sa atong kaugalingon sa sitwasyon sa uban. We identify ourselves especially with our brothers and sisters who are in need. In psychology, that's what we call empathy. No? We know how to empathize. Ang saan man pag-empathize? Have you heard this term? Empathy. So, empathy or to empathize is to put yourselves in the situation of other persons. Kana bang sa atong panultihon mo ka nga, sus, kung ako pod ang naa sa isang lugar, no? Kung ako pod ang naa sa isang lugar, meaning to say, you try to put yourself in his or her situation. So that by putting yourself in his position or situation, imo pong makitaan kung unsa ang ijang nakitaan, imo pong mabati ang ijang gibati. Mo na mo yung tao sahay, sus, dilid lalim ng isang kahimtang, uy, sakit, lisod. And only human being can do that. We cannot expect lions, tigers, or carabao to empathize because they don't have that capacity. Only human beings can do that. And that is one quality of becoming a truly humane person. Makatawhanon nga pagkatao. So that is our nature. No? The nature of human being is to be rational ug makatao. And so, based on the standards of natural law, kung ang behavior sa usa ka tawo not in accordance to his nature, then the action is evil or inappropriate. No? Sa usa ka tawo nga ang isang kinaidsa mura og baboy, no? Baboy ka. Mananap ka, hayop ka. Meaning to say, ang imong lihok, ang imong kinaidsa, dili tawhanon, kundili sama sa usa ka mananap. Diba? Kung sa may atong tawag sa usa ka tawo nga traidor, bitin, sawa, kaya kung sa may nature sa sawa, mulipot, no, moatake sa atong likod. O sometimes, ang usa ka tawo, maadyo lamang sa atubangan, pero nigtalikod nimo, ngadto kanidya dunggab-dunggabon. Ngadto kanidya dauton sa ubang mga tao. And that is a case of a person not living his or her own nature as a human being. So, kani nga mga behavior or kani nga mga attitude, Those actions that are unbecoming, not in accordance to our nature, are considered evil based or according to the natural law. Okay, so nasabtan ba? Doon na ba tayo mga pangutana with regard to natural law? Simply put, kung ang imong kinaidya, if your behavior and attitude is that of an animal, then that action is not good. Because according to the natural law, we should behave according to our nature. And we human beings, we are rational being and we are humane. So all our actions must be rational, using our intelligence, our intellect, and we are also being humane. Tawhanon, kamao ka mubati sa imong isig ka tao. And the third law that is used as basis in determining the standard of our action is the positive law. Okay? So a positive law is an implementation of the natural law. In the positive law, the guidelines, the standard is being made more concrete. And in fact, at this time, there is penalty or punishment. That is why it is called positive law, because it imposes a definite, a specific action in which if you are going to violate this one, mulapas ka o dili ka mutuman sa maong balaod, then you will be given a punishment. You will be punished. You will be penalized. And what are these positive law? Positive law are those ordinances, those laws that are implemented and imposed by the state. Unsa may mga balaod nato sa atong nasod, may tungod sa paglapas sa katungod sa ubang mga tao, balaod against pagpamutol og mga kahoy, balaod against, at this time we have imposed curfew or getting out of our house without face mask, na ay mga penalty. So mao ni ang mga example sa mga positive law, mga specific guidelines nga gi-implement sa atong mga local government units or other government agencies, by which if we act according to the law, why problema? But if we violate, if we will not observe and follow these laws, then there are equivalent penalty. Okay? So, in the positive law, mas naklaro ang unsa ang dapat ug dili dapat natong buhaton. And it implies, although not in all cases, but it implies nga if you violated the law, that means to say your action is not good. Your action is not proper. Doon na ba tayo nasabtan sa positive law? So for example, ang atong curfew is 8 o'clock in the evening, and then beyond 8 o'clock in the evening, nagyapon ka sa gawas sa imong bahay, naglakaw-lakaw gyapon ka sa kalsada, then you have already violated the law. And so if there are police authorities or police officers or barangay tanod who will catch you in the street at this time, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the evening, then there is a reason for them to apprehend you or to catch you. Dadun ka, bitbiton ka nga to sa presinto aron ka tagaan sa imong punishment because you have violated the guideline or you have violated the law. So these are the basis in determining the ethical value of your action. When your actions are in accordance to what these laws dictate, then your action is good. But if your action or your actions are not in accordance to these laws, eternal law, natural law, or even the positive law, then your action is considered improper and not good. I hope that you have learned something from this lesson. This will help you understand unsa may gamit sa mga balaod dinhi sa atong katilingban, or how can we evaluate a certain action. So, at least with this lesson you will be guided. We can evaluate our action whether it is good or evil based on these laws: the eternal law, the natural law, or the positive law. Thank you and good morning.